Hello, hello. My name is Delphi, and his name is Pop. Although he's deciding not to talk right now, that's okay though.
Oh,
Today
I
we're
apologize.
bringing you. we
You
take.
completely cut out for
I was
me.
I was hoping you would jump in on this sentence. I'm sorry. Well, today
So
we're
you didn't
bringing
cut
you a
off.
Cynthia replicant into versus Into the Fray. Really excited for that game. We're actually gonna hop right into it with Champion Select.
Definitely excited to see how both these teams decide to draft heading into this game. There's actually an E-sub on the side of Essentia Replicant being KFC Drumstick in their top lane. We have seen Essentia Replicant have a large preference in their previous games for really high damage compositions, and I wonder if that stays the same coming into this game with someone filling in for that carry role in the top lane.
Absolutely. And as far as Into the Fray goes, we've seen that their top laner plays a variety of things. I want them to start pinching down on the ADC bot lane. They like to play a lot of hyper carries and protective supports. If you can target them, maybe you can put them on an uncomfortable matchup and maybe something that doesn't gel well with the rest of the team. Who knows? We're going to see a Lucian ban, though, so they're not afraid of the hyper carries.
You're scared.
It's really surprising to me to see the Lucian choice banned out because, as you said, Into the Fray relies so heavily on Star Poner 12 in that ADC position. Um, playing things like Zaya, Kog'Maw, even, and the Zaya actually getting through here. Regardless, being played almost in every single one of their games. Where we might even see Trainer Ryu pick up his trademark Rek'Sai.
It's not necessarily a bad first pickup. That's actually a great first pickup. And I could see Zaya being picked second as well, but you're going to have to worry about them, I don't know, maybe response picking Rakan or even, well, picking up Zaya themselves if you don't pick it.
Yeah, and we see on the side of Essentia Replicant that Jarvan was picked. Jarvan can be flexed to top and jungle. Quality name, having quite a few games on the Jarvan, being one of the champions that he has played. But it looks like the Zaya is going to be picked up here for a Star Poner. A staple pick, pretty much.
Yeah, and it
of
has
Star
a lot
Poner.
of comfortable matchups as far as what you can play it into and what it works with support. It's a very flexible champion in that regard that still can scale pretty well into the late game.
Yeah, and we're seeing almost the exact same replica of the compositions that Into the Fray has been running here. Usually they do put Guy with Glasses on things like Urgot, etc. With the Morgana being banned out, I do want to see what Foxy's pulls out. We might potentially see the Rakan coming out to make that Zyrakan duo, or we may even see a Lulu just to make sure that this Zaya is able to live in the fights. But it looks like Essentia Replicant are picking up the Galio, making a very strong combination between that Jarvan Galio and grabbing the Jinx to outscale that Zaya.
I really like this pickup actually. Personally, my gold self is very happy picking Jinx into Zaya. The early game may not be as great as you want, just depending on how the junglers and support picks goes. But if played well, Jinx can outscale Zaya and do some heavy work in the team fights late game. Especially when you've got a frontline and engage tools and protection tools like Galio and Jarvan. So I'm excited to see what they do. And they Into the Fray is actually going to swap it up, throwing Foxy's onto Braum, straying away from that Lulu.
Yeah, Braum definitely one of the stronger supports in this meta currently. Provides a lot of peel, provides a really strong level 1, and Zaya and Braum together can definitely abuse a Jinx and a potential Galio support. Again, Galio can be flexed to the mid lane, although it's not entirely common. So it's most likely going to be given to Ubahars in that support position.
We'll see how that goes, but they're going to ban out Camille, pinch out the top lane a little.
Yeah,
Let's see how
and
they respond.
I'm really interested to see who they decide to put into this mid lane for Yorha here. Yorha has played. Actually, yeah, Yorha does play like Zoe, Cassiopeia. We can see if they put Yorha on the assassins that he has shown a lot of games on as well. He's typically on more the late game scalers. I believe he has played the Vladimir, has played the Zir, but has also shown to be able to play utility mid laners when needed, such as the Lissandra.
A lot of it might just come down to the Jarvan. If we assume the Galio is a support pick that's a bit tanky, do you want Jarvan to do more damage? You could pick maybe a more utility mid laner like Lissandra, or do you want him to go tankier and maybe get him a bit more damage like the Azir or the Vladimir?
I definitely feel the Lissandra can be a strong choice here. Their top lane still has yet to be shown that, it still might even be a J4 top lane for all we know, because Quality Name does play a really nasty Kha'Zix. He does play a really nasty Hecarim. So that can be a potential, choice that we see coming out from a Sentia Replicant here.
And guy with glasses opting into the Ornn pickup for that heavy team fight damage coming, and a heavy team fight CC coming from the boy up top.
Definitely something lesser, less flashy than what he usually plays, but it's still a strong choice nonetheless. Ornn can hit some nasty ultimates, and because Sentia Replicant do not have the Braum, they cannot block the Ornn ultimate. But we're going to see the Jace picked up here, something that Sentia Replicant has played in very many of their games so far.
Absolutely. I'm not entirely sure how that matchup goes, but I can only imagine it's happy for the Jace. Usually likes poking people out. Can the Ornn get on him is the question. And they do opt into that hyper carry mid lane with Azir. They're actually going with carries in a lot of lanes, so we should see some pretty good fights coming out of them. They've got a lot of AoE and ways to control the map.
Yeah, and this composition that Sentia Replicant is running, it's pretty much that it's staple, just like how Into the Fray are running things that they are very used to playing. The Xayah Rek'Sai, even Grey Fox on that Echo, he has played it before. We have seen the Jace and the Azir played for a Sentia Replicant in previous games. Now they are running a different top laner, so we're gonna see if KFC Drumstick is able to hold up to the same standards that they had for their former top laner.
For my money, I think the team fights I think are going to be pretty fun, explosive to watch across the map. But I think Into the Fray might have a better one with the Ornn, Echo, Rek'Sai, Braum. Just there's so many ways they can pick one area and say you're not getting to our carry. So I see a lot of fun team fights on that, a lot of explosive team fights.
Yeah, I can definitely see a heavy focus for Sentia Replicant in the top side of the map, trying to get that Jace ahead against the Ornn. That way he could create a strong point of pressure for Sentia, moving into that mid to late game, allowing Yorha and Chibi to actually scale. But I definitely see a lot of explosive team fights coming out from Into the Fray. They have a lot of team fight potential with the Rek'Sai, the Ornn, Echo, Zai, even Braum, and they have a lot of ways to actually start a fight.
All right, we gotta wait for that 3 minute delay before we can actually get into games. So we'll just entertain you with our tales of the matchup. As far as Xayah Braum goes into Jinx Galio, I definitely think there is room for Xayah Braum to start looking for small advantages here and there. Xayah Braum feels a little bit like an underrated pairing to me sometimes, only because people don't think about how the concussive blows stacked with Xayah's attack speed increase can just absolutely wreck through some people. And Galio isn't, ridiculously tanky early on. It doesn't. So I think that they can potentially abuse this if they get a bit of jungle attention, especially if Jarvan spends his time top to try and get Jace ahead.
Yeah, and we have to also keep in mind that Xayah did get recent buffs to her W. I don't recall what it was what it was exactly, but I believe it was about a 30-40% increase on her attack speed for her W. So that
Absolutely. I
means
believe it went to something like 40% at first rank to 70. I think it was originally 80, but they realized that was too strong and hot fixed it real quick. That or they just mess up the patch notes.
yeah, and so with that attack speed increase, you will be definitely seeing the Braum passive stacked really quick.
Yeah, especially
And
if she can get the root down too. It's like you can't even escape from it.
yeah, if that Jinx gets tagged by the Braum Snowball, if Trainer Ryu is in position to gank, it's going to become very, very deadly real quick, on this for Essentia.
And how about Azir versus Echo? How do you expect that matchup to go?
Um, so really in the Azir Echo matchup, Azir does have a lot of ability to poke down the Echo. However, Echo can play really well around Azir's cooldowns, being a very mobile assassin. So when the Azir, burns his soldier dash, Echo can look to try and do a quick trade by Eing in, getting a combo off, and quickly running away. And there's nothing Azir can really do. However, Echo does have to be careful with this Jarvan, because if he goes in, it creates a really easy gank for this Jarvan to capitalize on.
Yeah, I expect him to definitely be on the lookout for their jungler.
Yeah, and so I definitely feel for both teams, on the side of Vicentia Replica, we're going to be having to focus onto this top side of the map. I feel you have to get this Jace ahead, otherwise he starts to fall off later into the game. He does give up he does give a lot, but there's, outside of like the zap and whatnot, there's not too much poke that really synergizes with him. They do have a lot of tower sieging potential with that Jace, Azir, and Jinx, but you do want to make sure this Jace gets off to a head start. And on the side of Into the Fray, just get Star Poner ahead. That's basically
Rek'Sai is going
the
to be
story.
seeing Star Poner a lot today, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they're gonna just set up their tent, grill some meat, and just look out for people wandering into their bot lane named Jinx and Birdio.
Oh my goodness, Shivitarasu. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. You're gonna have to be on the lookout, baby girl. You're playing one of my favorite champions, so let's get it going. I am excited for this match to start, and we should be heading into game just now.
And as always, a reminder, my computer will probably be a minute or so behind. That way, takes a bit for me to actually load into the game.
A plebeian.
Yes, a plebeian with a really bad computer.
No worries. We expect to see a 5-point start or maybe an invade. If we do see an invade, it'd probably be on the side of Into the Fray. I feel like Braum Zaya has a really strong level 1, but we're not going to see an invade just yet. We're just going to see them all line up real pretty and stare each other down. Oh, guy with glasses doesn't see Drumstick in the bush, so we're going to see a bit of harass early. Jace is somebody who can get that out. I don't think he can get the kill, though. Teleport in. Nothing to worry about there. Or not teleport in, sorry. He only has teleport, doesn't have Ignite, so he can't get the kill. Sorry. Having a moment.
No worries, no worries. But I do want to point out that Into the Fray actually has double TP. Yorha chose to opt for a heal, relatively standard on the Azir, but we can definitely see a lot of TP plays going, down to the bot side of the map to make sure that Star Poner gets the lead that they want him on. And Grey Fox actually performing really well on the Ahri in their previous game, so I definitely want to see the kind of picks that he can make on this Echo here.
Absolutely. I think he's going to be a key part of this as well. Him and Rek'Sai together have a pretty nasty combination, and particularly in the early to mid game, it's going to be a lot of influence coming out from them, as we see pretty standard starts for both junglers.
Yeah, I am now in game, so... But Trainer Ryu starting that blue buff, making sure to try and get that scuttle in the bot river. Looks to be just putting his attention in the bot side of the map in the beginning, as we expected. There's not much he can really do top lane. He can, get a kill on Drumstick, but it's not ideal. So I definitely expect to see him, just controlling the bot side of the map.
Yeah, he's going to say Scuttle, as Jarvan might look for an early gank. No, I think he's going to go for the Scuttle that he notices is gone now. He's going to back off into his jungle. Rek'Sai taking over the bot side of the jungle a little bit.
And it looks like he's going to be just looking forward to this potential red buff, maybe even a top river Scuttle, making sure that Quality Name is unable to get either one. That's going to provide a lot of, early vision control for Into the Fray.
Something they need if they want to keep the bot side safe while Rek'Sai manages to farm top. Jarvan once again seeing his Scuttle gone, but they might actually have the collapsed top lane. He does miss the Shock Blast though, and is just going to let Rek'Sai walk past him.
Yeah, with two very strong early game champions in Jace and Jarvan, you don't really, want to take that fight as trainer Ryu. Um, Even though Rek'Sai is a relatively strong early game champion as well, you don't really have the damage output to compete from Guy with Glasses on this Ornn.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of poke and trade coming from both bot lanes, although it looks like Jinx and Galio have mostly recovered from it. However, nobody's really willing to go all in, because if you do it too deep against Xayah, the Blade Caller is going to kill you. If you go in too deep against Galio, stun into Chompers is going to kill you. So neither side really willing to commit, but Xayah, Star Pwner 12, a little bit low on health as well, having to play back
But
and avoid some
but
more damage.
it's also you have to keep in mind that Chibi, looking for this poke is perfectly fine, because at the end of the day, he's going to end up outscaling this Xayah. And so, just trying to push Star Pwner out of that lane is going to make his job that much easier. They do know that Trainer Ryu is on the top side of the map, so they can pressure as much as they are. But a fight here...
Ornn thinks he can take the fight. At least he's getting the trade, but the reverse onto him will get stopped by KFC Drumstick's lack of mana. Not the carry he thinks he is, but he knows the Trainer Ryu is nearby in case he does need the help.
Yeah, and Trainer Ryu might actually look to this top side of the map to try and secure a kill on a flashless Drumstick.
He is hovering. What are we going to see happen? He's not warded. He's going to walk by a ward on his way. Will he get the throw? Nah, he's not in range of flash. Jace is just going to pop his speed up and get out.
Yeah, Drumstick just going to be resetting now, knowing that Trainer Ryu has eyes on him. Doesn't, there's not really a point in just waiting there. Gonna be burning the TP. Actually, okay, does Drumstick actually have flash? Because it says for me that everyone does not have summoners.
Yes, he still has flash, don't worry. But he did burn his TP.
Okay.
Don't worry, your client's just bugging out on you. Thanks, Raito. No,
Okay.
his flash is up, but his CP is burned. As we see, J4 might be looking for a fight in the jungle. The Galio Ignite, though, or Galio Engage is going to get them. A root is going to bring Galio low, but Jinx is going to get first blood. The heal is going to save Galio as he flashes out. Ooh, does dodge the zap. Fancy feed on Star Pwner, but you don't have the mana to keep the fight going. An unfortunate first blood for Jinx. An unfortunate first blood for Into the Fray going to Jinx.
Chibi and Ubahar's putting in a lot of work. Well-timed heal by Chibi, keeping her support alive, and it doesn't look too good for the bot lane of Into the Fray.
I mean, it's only the first kill, but absolutely the person that they would want the kill to be on. Chibi is playing a hyper-scaling snowball champion. If you can start feeding Jinx even more and more and more, by the time the second item, third item come in and Xayah is not matching Jinx, she'll take over the game. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I definitely want to see some proactivity coming out from Into the Fray. Earth Dragon is up, but Ryu just kind of sticking to the top side of the map. And I feel like this is, not the greatest decision here by Ryu. We talked about wanting to get Star Pwner ahead, but, he's just kind of letting his bot lane withstand the pressure.
I think that he knew they were low health for so long, and they were taking trades that weren't great for them at that moment in time. Plus, at this exact moment, he knew that Xayah was still farming and getting back. I don't think he's had a whole lot of options for it, just to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I do hope to see him bot soon, because I think without that kind of camp, this comp doesn't work as well. But he should be looking for an opportunity soon, and we'll see how that goes for them. On the opposite side, Jarvan not doing anything as well. Actually, it's been sort of a low-impact game for both junglers.
Yeah, and with these two early game junglers, you definitely want to just look to be proactive, because especially if you're quality name, because I do feel Rek'Sai scales better than Jarvan moving into the mid to late game. So for quality name, you're under more of a time bomb really or whatever to get ahead, get that early lead, but you do have the late game insurance in Yorha and Chibi.
Yeah, Azir Jinx is a nasty mid to late game mid to late game, I guess. They'll be carrying team fights super hard past a certain point. So I really do hope to see more proactivity outside of Rek'Sai. Guy with glasses just gonna get his way out of there. Jace blowing all of his mana just to keep him low, but not quite pushing him out of lane just yet.
But I definitely want to point out and give props to Starponer in this bot lane. Despite the pressure that he has been withstanding, he is up in CS.
Absolutely. He's not beaten him by a crazy amount just yet, but something to be noted if you're quote-unquote losing lane. But we do see 3 there as Rek'Sai. Actually, there's a dive in the top lane. Quality gaming. As we say, both junglers across the map. Jace picks up another kill. Rek'Sai unable to finish off Jinx, but PPC is going to get taken down by Foxy's, unfortunately. Void Rush will pick it up for Trainer Ryu, actually. That makes it a 2 for 2.
And you know how the saying goes, great minds think alike. Quality name. At the exact same time Trainer Ryu shows bot lane, pulls the trigger top side, and it's an even trade across the map. 2 for 2 as you said. One of these kills going on to Chibi, and that's not the person you want to see that go to. You are getting platings for the Xayah here, but now with Chibi having 2 kills up, he's gonna be sitting at about a 200 to 400 gold lead once he catches up with the CS of Starponer.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now he's about a 300 gold lead. It's nothing to necessarily write home about, as Starponer does have to back, but Starponer is saved by his CS. We'll see how that changes for her as we continue, but the gold is coming in fine for her for the kills. I think the Jace kill, though, or the Jace getting the kill, is one of the big moments of that trade, because if he can keep that split going at a certain point, he'll be able to 1-4 with the rest of his team effectively.
Yeah, and we talked about getting that Jace ahead, that way he doesn't fall off. He has he has a really strong split push pressure for the side of Essentia, and quality name just playing to Essentia's early game win condition, because Chibi and Ubahars are doing perfectly fine. Yorha is almost even in CS against Grey Fox, and he doesn't really have to worry too much about them.
See the Searing Charge to try and get the knockup. He does manage to get the stun. He's going to call the Forge God out to try and get this fight going, but we see something happening in the mid lane as Jace will be able to escape Parallel Convergence. Not going to stun up Yorha, just dancing on the edges. He knows quality name is there to get the fight started again. Chrono Break to try and save him, but the Shreemans say not today, as a Cataclysm to dunk that kill for quality name.
And Essentia just showing a lot of really good early game plays. Grey Fox, we talked about how if Grey Fox decides to go all in, it becomes very dangerous for him if quality name is around to capitalize on that. That is exactly what happened there. He doesn't have the E to get away, and the second he rewinds back in time, he gets knocked back to the same position.
And Trainer Ryu showing some more pressure top. I see that the Jace was pushed in and he thinks that he can get it, but Jace just acceleration gates and pops his way out, and he's still bullying Guy with Glasses as both sides of the map are getting hammered by their opponents, knocked away and beaten and battered.
It becomes really concerning, if you're the side of Into the Fray, that this late game carry in Jinx is applying so much pressure to a Xayah who wants, those early kills, wants to get ahead early, that way she doesn't get so hard outscaled by the Jinx.
See an engagement top lane, he sees that KFC Drumstick does not have the mana, a flash, an ignite, a bot, and he's just chasing the poor sucker down as Bellow's Breath will secure the kill for Guy with Glasses. We were talking how that was a bully lane, and Rek'Sai's down bottom to try and start something as well, but I think they spotted her clearing out a ward. And, and also in the background, J4 just casually picking up a dragon.
Just casually. Mountain Drake definitely going to prove wonders for them when it starts to get to that mid-late game.
But a flash taunt will start the fight off into the flag and drag Void Rush to avoid damage for just a little bit, but he does get knocked up, and Ignite probably won't finish him, but the big rocket actually misses. Braum picks up Galio in the meantime, while Starponer 12 picks up quality name. This is actually a caught out as the Blade Caller will keep it alive just for long enough. Lethal tempo, one more auto, a flash to get it up, but Jace is going to shock blast acceleration his way into the fight. Can he 1v2 as the Feather Storm into the Blade Caller will take down KFC a little low. I don't think this fight can keep going, but he misses the shock blast. He's got to go down. Unburrow knocks him up while a Blade Caller actually picks up Jace as well. Jace picks up. It's a 1-for-1 there at the end.
And it's a bloodbath. And I honestly think that was really good for Into the Fray, because this, their star player, Star Poner, goes from 0-1 to 3-1 after that whole altercation.
Absolutely the big winner of that fight, and I think that's what needed to happen. I know that it's frustrating to play against Jace, but we need pressure bot lane because Star Poner 12 and Gray Fox are going to be doing the most damage, and in particular, Star Poner 12 is the guy that you're looking at for this team. He's done a lot of work for them in the last few games. We need to see this lane get ahead. Guy with glasses did manage to pick up Jace as well earlier, so it's not like the lane is completely messed up for him.
However, we have to keep in mind that Drumstick did pick up 2 kills on that end, getting the snipe off with the accelerated shock blast, and then getting the shutdown on Star Poner. So he's going to be coming back into this top lane 2 kills up, and he is currently almost 1,000 gold up on Guy with Glasses. So we're going to see how that gold difference actually affects his top lane, and whether this E-sub and Drumstick can actually blow that lead out of proportion and snowball this early game for Sentia.
Absolutely, but as you point out the gold lead in top, I do want to look at the gold lead mid. I should say at least after this little skirmish, but it's not amounting to much yet as Echo and Rek'Sai are hovering just by. I don't think this fight's gonna keep going, but they're there just for protection.
Yeah,
K4 is wanders a little too far out. The Unburrow's going to get the knockup while Gray Fox is applying the damage, and that's a free kill for Into the Fray.
And Quality Name believes that with the priority top and mid, he's able to actually invade the topside jungle of Trainer Ryu. However, he didn't expect to see both Ryu and Gray Fox, in the same general area to just, kill him.
Absolutely, and Rek'Sai calls the Forge God, maybe just to protect Rek'Sai, as he knows Rek'Sai is in the pit by himself. Bellows Breath to try and get some damage, does miss the Searing Charge. He doesn't have a whole lot left right now, but he knows that he's got his friends behind him. It's a 2v3 right now, as Jarvan is still walking back from his base. So I don't expect to see this Rift Herald go over to, to the side of a Essentia Replicant. They might start the fight afterwards, though. I don't think they can get there just in time, and they have to hop out, so clean Rift Herald for the side of Into the Fray.
Rift Herald on Gray Fox here, so that does mean that the second Gray Fox is able to get a good trade off on Yorha, or if Ryu comes by, does a general drive-by for Yorha in this mid lane. If Yorha falls, that will be a lot of pressure lost by Essentia, and we can see that Rift Herald come down to take 1 or maybe 2 towers.
Absolutely. That 1k gold lead in the top lane has shrunk to about a 6k gold lead, while the mid lane lead for Into the Fray's Gray Fox has turned into a 1k gold lead.
Yeah, and with the Inferno spawning soon, we can see both these teams potentially looking
to follow up on KFC Drumstick. There's not enough mana, but the Cataclysm will dunk him down, unfortunately. Actually, KFC Drumstick did pick it up. I didn't think he'd had enough mana for it. But the Rift Herald called mid lane immediately as a response. He knows his ear isn't there just yet. That's a free tower for them. Can't stop the charge. And they will pick up the first tower of the match.
Gray Fox making sure that both Drumstick and Quality Name, but a fight here in the bot lane, which
he's not going to go anywhere just yet. They take a lot of front-end damage from the rockets, and unfortunately Brom's pretty low. But they have 4 people bot. So we might see something soon. Echo.
They're going to be looking for this Inferno Dragon that we talked about, but a flank by Gray Fox
does stop them from leaving the try, though.
He'd be coming in by Gaia with Glasses.
He believes in this fight more than anybody. Call the Forge God is up if he chooses to keep it going, but instead Gray Fox takes a lot of damage. Chronos breaks back into the fight, but he's taking too much tower damage. As a team, I believe they're taking too much. The Feather Storm into the Blade Collar, but a Mega Rocket will keep them all so low. This fight can't be started off just yet. They're not in range, but if they do, there's so much room for Jinx resets.
Yeah, and Yorha trying to make some kind of play, but getting caught by the Blade Caller on the back end and just stopped in place. It looks like that despite the Inferno Drake going into the fray, a lot of tempo has been, taken over by Essentia, and a fight here for this bot lane tower might break out.
They can defend it. Probably just going to hover around, rockets and whatnot. They aren't going to get tacked up by Zap, though, so I don't think that they can start a fight just yet, as long as they play it safely. All 5 members are back, so they might look to start this. As Call of the Forge God comes in, absolutely misses KFC Drumstick and the rest of Essentia Replicant, but they are grouped as 5. He gets into the back line, but will get knocked up and killed by Trainer Ryu as the stopwatch comes in for Gray Fox. He doesn't have the chrono break, so if he gets caught again, he's dead. Starponer dies in the background as a double kill for Jace comes in. A kill for Jinx, so she gets the reset, and a little bit of overchase from Into the Fray.
Yeah, Into the Fray believed that after they had reset and, came back healthier than ever, that they could take this fight. But Yorha, being the most ballsiest Azir I've ever seen, just walks up to the team and just flash Shurima shuffles them. And,
absolutely a fantastic move.
And we talked about how we have to look at the jungle top lane in this, in this game. Or Essentia, Quality Name, and Drumstick putting in a lot of work to get Drumstick ahead on this Jace, and we're starting to see the fruits of their effort here as Jace, being one of the highest damage dealers in these team fights for Essentia.
Absolutely, he is, oh dang, close to 3k up.
Yeah, and it's going to be very difficult for a guy with glasses in the side lane.
Yeah, in his defense, he has managed to keep up and farm to the point where he's actually ahead by 10. But it's hard to keep up with him in goal when it's a 6-2-1 Jace.
Yeah, but the Iceborne Gauntlet is on guy with glasses. Coming.
Some technical difficulties I see.
It looks like Drumstick is lagging. Maybe a bit of DDoS thing going on here, but no, not actually.
See, the thing is that the Jace wouldn't be as threatening if they had managed to feed a specific carry. But I think it's almost unfortunate that the kills are all spread out across the board. I'm never one to accuse of kill stealing, but how much better would it be if instead of a 2-2-6 Rek'Sai, we had a 5-2-2, or they had a 5-2-2 Xayah. So I think Into the Fray is looking at some stiff waters ahead, especially since we discussed earlier that Jinx Azir will outscale them.
And it looks like the game's going to be unpausing here, but to get to to answer the statement that you just made, I feel it's just them securing the kills. I don't necessarily think that, it would be nice to have a lot of, all those kills pulled into one specific carry, but
I don't think it's their fault. But Gray Fox doesn't either, as he tries to get on the Azir. Hextech and the Chrono Break, though, to get him out.
Into the Fray has to respect how far ahead that Jace is, because if he does catch out Starponer in these fights, Starponer is just going to get deleted.
Especially since he's coming into this next fight already kind of low health. He has about a third of it gone. They're going to get poked down and sieged by the Zap into the Shock Blast. That's a Super Mega Death Rocket as well. Not going to kill him, but it is going to force him out of lane, and this tower might just be theirs. You can't afford to get hit by an accelerated Shock Blast.
Yeah, we talked about the amount of siege that they have on the side of Essentia. You have Jinx Zaps, you have the Azir soldiers, but all 3 of their carries are very well capable of destroying towers, before you could blink your eyes. And it looks like they may be getting this tier 1 mid tower here.
Absolutely, they think they can still fight it, as the tower dive is going to come through. He's actually going to pick up J-Fox with a dunk, but the Call of the Forge God will keep them off for the most part. This may not be going well for the side of Essentia Replicant, as KFC Drumstick is picked down by Starponer 12, getting that shutdown. That's a 3-for-1, an ill-advised dive. Loses Essentia Replicant so much momentum.
And we talked about Starponer, it would be nice to have him be 5'2", and look at him now, he is 5'2".
He heard the call, Caster's Curse. I think that they just got
the Forge God.
He heard the call of the Forge God. He heard the call of the Casting God. They got a little too greedy. They had such a good siege going, and they were poking them down so well. But Quality Name gets separated out by Call of the Forge God and excuse me, Brahm's ultimate as well, Glacial Fissure. It's hard for the rest of the team to follow up when there is still a tower in the way, and truly it's not very high up. They could have afforded, I think, to take in a little more time and knock down the tower first.
Yeah, they they don't necessarily have the greatest dive composition. They prefer, you know, poking out this into the fray and getting objectives when they are chunked down. But they just get too greedy, they get too over-aggressive, and a lot of their players actually falls down to the tower. Chibi, for example, actually only picked up by Starponer because the tower ended up getting about 2 to 3 tower shots on him.
Absolutely, and when we're talking about how we think Azir and Jinx can outscale their enemies, we shouldn't forget though it's only 22 minutes into the game, and Xayah still has plenty of room and time to continue to dominate the game. But in the meantime, Jace has got a mean split push top and a teleport coming bot, so we might just see the team fight. Azir tagged up by concussive blows. Call the Forge God into the dunk, into the second dunk. We'll pick up Ayora the first kill as Blade Caller tries desperately to get some damage done, but it doesn't matter as Jinx gets a double kill as well. Shock Blast missing the Braum, the only survivor next to Gray Fox. I think that's a free Baron for the side of Essential Replicant.
OP by Quality Name, catching what, 3 of them inside that pit of destruction.
Absolutely nutty. That was the combo you dream about. The team fight they were thinking of, and they're going to shred Baron.
If you were to look back at that team fight, Gray Fox is also separated by Drumstick.
Ooh, but the Shuriman Shuffle to try and catch Gray Fox, gonna knock him over the walls. Corona Break takes him back. He actually might kill Yorha in the side, but Yorha just turns it around to pick up Gray Fox anyway. Blue team picks up a Baron Nashor for free almost.
Gray Fox just split apart from the team in that dragon fight. When Drumstick TP'd, he actually just made sure Gray Fox stayed at bay, while the rest of Into the Fray just collapsed under the wombo that Essentia has. And so now with this Baron, you know, being a reality for Essentia, we're going to see a lot of pressure coming in on Into the Fray with this really strong split push by Drumstick. And Isab, who's actually putting in hell of a work for Essentia.
And Jinx is almost at her 3rd item. It's one of her strongest points in the game, but she shouldn't be underestimated now. She's got blue buff, she's got Baron buff, she has IE and Runeans, and she will be wrecking team fights as this continues to build up for her. On the side of Into the Fray, they should be happy about having double Infernal Bow.
For sure. I want to see from Essentia to start actually denying vision from Into the Fray. There's a lot of wards out on the map that Essentia have yet to clear, and it looks like they're trying to do so right here, making sure to clear out that bot side of the map.
That might be where they go to next, but they might have found Chief Karasu out. He does have to flash, and Yorha is getting just so much poke on the sides. Parallel Convergence wasted as he's not going to catch anyone just yet. Chibi Tarasu just poking from the side with Zap as a Super Mega Death Rocket once again, just to keep the damage up. Gray Fox is not going to die just yet, though.
Yeah, Chibi almost onto that 3rd item, as you said. Starponer just lagging behind that 3rd item very slightly. But it looks like they're going to be sieging that tier 2 bot tower, and it looks like it's just going to fall.
Evaporate between Jace, Azir, and Jinx. If they ever get longer than 2 seconds with a tower alone, it's gone. But Trainer Ryu might be looking for the flank from the side. Call the Forge God to start the fight off. Is going to miss everybody as Parallel Convergence is aimed at them as well. They're going to disengage as they pick the Azir tower up. Gray Fox is completely all the way in. Chrono Break to escape, though. This might be an ill-advised fight.
Into the Fray trying to find some proactive way to shut down this push that Essentia has going for them. It's very hard to do so through the amount of poke and siege potential that Essentia has, as well as, you know, just Baron minions.
Yeah. Well, Azir is pushed low, so we shouldn't be too confident in him being super far up, but I think they can still keep this going, especially if there's a split. Echo almost looked like he was caught on the side, but I don't think it's going to happen just yet as they do try and push up. Azir's going to try and get the damage down, but they're all going to get knocked up by the Glacial Fissure. They're all super low. Void Rush to try and kill Quality Name. He does pick him up, an instant flash to try and get away from the rest of their damage. He's going to tunnel under, but you're going to run straight into KSC Drumstick, and he may have been killed once, but you're not going to survive him again as KSC Drumstick is going to pick up his 7th kill of the game.
And it becomes really scary for Drumstick to actually separate from the team. against the composition that Into the Fray has, because Into the Fray actually has a lot of engage, as we discussed before. So sending Drumstick to those side lanes, especially without teleport,
Ooh, he
into
does
play.
pick up the
Oh my
snipe.
god!
Good job, Tarasu.
That is a feels bad for Foxy's. And if you're Into the Fray, how do you come back from, you know, just this lack of tempo and this gold deficit that you have?
Well, I think obviously you gotta shake off the mental aspects of it. It's frustrating, of course, that your gameplay might not have gone the way that you wanted it to, but you gotta keep it chill and keep it moving forward and how you want to be reacting to the enemy. I think the second thing to consider is you gotta keep in mind they have 2 Infernal Dragons. I have no idea what the next dragon might be, looking like an ocean drag. So 2 Infernal Dragons means that you do so much damage. You can actually start competing with some of these people, so maybe they don't even outscale them as hard. I think you can definitely still win these team fights. So you gotta find somebody out and move on from there, I think.
But with Ocean Dragon going into the hands of Essentia, that becomes really good for them because they're already creating a lot of poke onto Into the Fray. So any kind of damage that Into the Fray can get back in return, but Yorha looking for some kind of play. His flash is coming up soon, so he might see a potential Shurima Shuffle to try and close this game out.
Absolutely. They're 5k gold ahead, and he fully believes in his team to back him up. He's just going right up into their faces and trying to bait that fight or flight response from Into the Fray.
Yeah, and with Drumstick now crashing the bot lane, it's going to create a lot of pressure for Into the Fray. His TP is going to be up relatively soon. Into the Fray, they do have to try and pull the trigger, which they might be doing now.
Right now, Call of the Forge God is going to tag up just one, and Trainer Rio off on the side is trying to help him as well. Starponer picking up Galio off on the back as well, while Jinx gets Trainer, and it ends up being a 1-for-1 with a jungler for a support. And off on the side, it's the story of KF's and Drumstick just trying to split push. We see 2 in response. Gray Fox is going to try and pick him down as he goes really low. Chrono Break to get the last little bits as on the side. They are trying to get the mid tower.
Yeah, and you have to give a lot of credit to Into the Fray being able to hold off against such a powerful sieging composition that Essentia has. Jace actually, you know, drawing a lot of pressure there, and Ubahar's, you know, in the fight that broke out mid lane, doing a lot of work by keeping everyone else off the carries of Chibi and Yorha. It becomes very hard, even with all the engage that Into the Fray has, to get onto these long range hyper carries, you know, of the Azir and Jinx.
Absolutely. Another thing to think about as well, though, is that we have Ornn upgraded items. So not only do they have double Infernal Dragons to help them boost their damage in the late game, they also have an upgraded IE, an upgraded Iceborne Gauntlet, and upgraded, I think Zanya's has one as well in there. So there's plenty of room for them to scale beyond what they normally would.
Yeah, and that is something that, you know, we didn't look into before, but definitely with these, you know, the Ornn upgrades, it is, you know, and 2 Infernals on the side of Into the Fray, Starponer does have just as much power that Chibi can have in that late game.
Truth. They are actually equal in gold, separated only by, looks like 100, from not even that, truly. This is a fight of ADCs, I think, for them at the moment. We'll see Gray Fox and the crew try and put up some plays against this really long-range team.
And I can very well see the next fight, you know, writing the rest of the story. This Baron's going to be very crucial to both teams.
No flag and drag. Void Rush just to avoid the damage. He's going to pick up a kill, but Jinx is going to get that kill from it. She's got the rockets going, as Quality Name actually might escape. Chrono Break just to save the Echo. Shurima Shuffle, but it will be dodged by the Feather Storm. Ornn off to the side. Call Force God already used, but the charge just to get the knockup. Starponer 12 taken low, but not taken down. Galio does get the knockup on 2 of them, but not Starponer. He's in the backline taking down everybody. That's a triple kill, but Jinx is getting the reset, and unfortunately, she will go down. A complete ace and a quadra kill for Chibi Tarasu.
You said that it was a battle of ADCs, and Chibi Tarasu coming out on top. Yeah, Starponer, Chibi's basically like, you get the triple kill, I'll get the quadra, and now I'm going to take the rest of your base on top of that.
That is a free base turret, and in him, she's going to get another turret as well, and there's only Rek'Sai to defend, so I think that's a free inhibitor as well.
and it
Yes,
becomes
it is.
so much more difficult for Into the Fray with these two inhibitors down. Now there's supers pushing in mid lane and bot lane. Dragon's going to be spawning soon. You don't have the press on the side of Into the Fray to actually contest that. And when it starts getting to Barons, to the Baron fights, you're going to be forced to respond if you don't pull the trigger fast enough.
Absolutely. I also want to point out that it is a third Infernal, which is pretty important because if Into the Fray gets that, that's 3 Infernals. And a 3 Infernal, if they manage to drag it out this long, a 3 Infernal Elder Dragon will absolutely rip people through paper. So that's another win condition they could collect for themselves. It looks like
And
the
it looks like they are.
Essentially, Replicant trying to set up some vision while Into the Fray wanders into them as well. Rek'Sai just going to blindly stumble into them. They're not willing to fight them as they know they can get more pressure on the map. Gonna
Yeah,
let
and
that scuttle go.
Drumstick does still have his teleport. It looks like he's rotating to the top side of the map, but a fight.
They want this fight as Shibitarasu has to flash out, taken low. A dunk onto two is going to absolutely obliterate both sides. Azir picking up a double. Xayah getting Galio. Rek'Sai getting Jinx. It's a cluster as the Void Rush saves him for just a little bit.
But it's like you get one of these hyper carries, there's still another one that you left unattended, and they kill Chibi-Tarasu, the man who took the quadra kill in the previous team fight, and your HUD just decides, hey, okay, then I'll just do his job, instead. And
Who needs an ADC?
Difficult.
I'm Azir. Can they defend it? That's the question. Guy with glasses going in with the searing charge. Bell Breath is not going to do enough damage though. Exhaust just to try and save himself, but it doesn't work. KFC Drumsticks 9, 5, and 10, and he says, this is my map. They're up in 4 seconds, or Brahm's up in 4 seconds, and I don't think he can defend this by themselves.
And Ascentia are knocking on the front door of
Starboner's up in 1. This is the last fight. There is no Glacial Fissure, and I think that's a win for the side of Essentia Replicant.
Dun, 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 dun. Wonderful match between both these two teams. It seemed that Into the Fray, they had a really rough patch in the early portion of the game. However, they managed to turn things around in those mid-game team fights. You saw Starponer actually getting quite a hefty amount of kills, but it ultimately became just not enough reliable damage on the side of Into the Fray to handle both of these two huge hyper carries in Azir and Jinx. I didn't really see much coming from Gray Fox in this match because it was just so hard for him to try and shut down this Azir and Jinx as well.
Absolutely. I really thought that they were going to have Trainer Ryu spend a little more time mid and bot. And it felt like, while he did have a few ganks there, don't get me wrong, it felt like the ganks just didn't get Starponer enough. It didn't do enough for what their team needed. And unfortunately, when they needed Echo to dive, when they needed Xayah to carry, and people to peel for Xayah, people just didn't have the power spikes they needed.
Yeah, and it just felt like that they were just playing on the opposite side of the spectrum of what their win condition was at that moment. In the early game, you want to get that Echo and Xayah ahead, but we saw Trainer Ryu put a lot of pressure into the top side of the map to try and alleviate, how much issues the guy with glasses on Ornn was having against Jace. I felt if you just left the Ornn to his own device and got Great Fox ahead or got Starponer ahead, two people that we know that when they get a lead, they can do insane things with them. If you get them ahead, it becomes a much different story for Into the Fray in this game.
Absolutely. So this brings Into the Fray at 4-2, and Essentia Replicant puts them into the positive at 3-2. I think that for Essentia Replicant, this is a great game for you to look at and say, we had a good execution of the game plan that we wanted. But where do you move on if you're Into the Fray?
If you're Into the Fray, honestly, you haven't lost. Since your first game in this tournament, you have not lost for 4 games in a row. And teams are going to reach that little hurdle, and you kind of have to just look at the game. What do we do wrong? What can we do better? Make sure that I feel they could have put Guy with Glasses on something more carry oriented, and just look for engage elsewhere on the map. We see Grey Fox on these these assassin like champions. I actually think Ari would have been much more capable in this matchup because she's able to get onto the carries like Jinx and Azir much more easier than the Echo is. So I just think just look at this game and figure out where you want your resources because it didn't look as if Into the Fray really knew themselves where they want to be putting all their resources, even though they've spent the last 4 wins doing the same strategy over and over. The one game they chose not to, it did not go in their favor.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to the next few weeks, but until then, my name is Delphi.
And I'm Pop.
Hey, you got it this time. We'll be announcing all the games that we're casting on the Discord. If
Wait,
you want us to cast your games, let us know. We
we
are
did
we are
not
the guys
say who
for
we
you.
think is the MVP.
Oh, that's
We
true. That's true.
forgot that
I'm so
entirely.
sorry. Let's see.
I will personally have to give the MVP to Drumstick, the E sub of Essentia, and
Absolutely.
that is because I feel that without the amount of pressure that him and Quality Name provided in the early portions of the game, you will not see Chibi and Yorha get those pop art performances in the team fights. He did exactly what he needed to do in order to, be a point of pressure that Into the Fray had to respond to.
Agreed. I think if I could give a secondary, it would be the Quality Name, but truly I want to pump up this KFC drumstick for MVP. NA Jace lol is just a meme.
Yeah, it would appear so. And I expect great things from Essentia moving forward. And I can't wait to see what other kind of compositions they do, having that high damage playstyle that you don't normally see a lot of people do. So it's a really exciting performance, to see from them.
And on that note, y'all have a great day.